Let's now bring in criminal defense attorney Josh Ritter and host of the podcast Courtroom Confidential. Josh, always good to be joined by you. So the defense, to Brooke's points there, they want key evidence thrown out. The DNA on the knife sheath at the crime scene, items seized from his apartment, car, online activity. What's the chance that the judge actually grants that dismissal?
To be honest with you, I think it's really slim. It's no surprise that the defense is attacking this evidence. The DNA evidence is the linchpin of the prosecution's case. The defense can argue that he was out looking at the stars. They can argue that, cars similar to his were seen in that area, but they weren't his. They might even have explanations for what he was doing with his phone at the time of the murders. But unless they come up with some sort of innocent explanation for how his DNA ended up on that knife sheath found at the crime scene, or get this evidence kicked out, they really don't have a fighter's chance inside of court. And so it's no surprise that they're attacking it.
Yeah. And a crucial piece of the prosecution's evidence, right, is investigative genetic genealogy. So basically public ancestry databases that directed them toward Kohberger. The defense says that method violated Kohberger's constitutional rights. Are they right in saying that? And what would those rights be?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is play upon the privacy concerns that people have with the idea that this kind of information is being used to track down other individuals, that these are people who have voluntarily entered their own genetic material into a database, and that by using that, they've been able to determine who his relatives were. Now, just to be clear, once he was identified as a suspect and taken into custody, they did DNA swabs on him to directly match him to the material that they recovered from the crime scene. So they're not just working off of this IgG evidence, they're working off of the direct DNA evidence. But they're saying that there's something controversial, a violation of privacy rights in the way that that was first used to identify him. From a legal standpoint, the arguments are not as clear. From probably a public perception standpoint, I think they might have more traction. And I think that's why they were so concerned with having this hearing be public today, but the judge has decided against that.
Yeah. I also know the defense argued this week that pretrial hearings should be made public. Also, you have several media outlets who came forward this week. They had their request denied to be granted access to a closed-door hearing on Tuesday, Josh. The media says they have a right under the First Amendment to attend criminal proceedings. Do they make a good case, and should we be allowed in all of these hearings?
I think absolutely. I think more transparency is good. I think that this case has been too closely protected. I think that that is part of what makes our American criminal justice system so wonderful, is that we do open up the doors and allow the media inside. It is interesting, though, because the defense was against all of the media attention originally. I mean, they asked to have this case moved across the state because they were so concerned about public perception. And now they've kind of pivoted and said, well, now we want everybody to hear about it when it comes down to an issue that they feel is of public concern. The judge, I think, is concerned about the names of relatives perhaps being released and trying to protect that, but it seems to me like we're getting to the point where those arguments don't hold as much water, and we really should be allowing cameras inside.
Yeah. Josh, I got to end it, but just a couple seconds left. This murder trial is set to start in August. Any chance that actually happens? I mean, this has been delay after delay.
I think so. We're 2 years past the time of the murders. I think that's enough time, but at the same time, it's a death penalty case, and they seem to ask for more time in those situations.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.